Hey guys, this is episode 8 of I'm Just an Asshole Sometimes, and I have a pretty good lineup of Reddit stories coming right your way, so stay tuned. Okay, the first story comes from Best of Redditor Updates. The title, my girlfriend asked if we can pause our exclusivity so she can try a threesome, as I have done it and she hasn't. So here we go. Girlfriend, 24, and I, 23, got exclusive a couple months. We dated non-exclusively for 8 months approximately. So while having a random discussion about our previous partners, I told her that I have had a threesome with the bi couple, early 20s female, that live across the hallway from me. They are in an open marriage. After this, she got upset with me, and that's not fair that I did not tell her this before we got exclusive. I told her that she never asked me. We went ahead and asked me that she would like to suspend our exclusivity so she can have this experience, because if we turn out great and stay together forever, she would miss this life experience. I was literally like, what the fuck? That's not how feelings work. I told her she can choose to do that, but that would be the end of this relationship. I don't think I was harsh, but she thinks I was. Like, I like this girl and I prefer monogamous relationships. In my opinion, I gave her a reasonable option and she can choose what she wants. What do you guys think about the opinion or options? Are they unreasonable? She told me she has very strong feelings for me, and if I had strong feelings for her, I wouldn't stop her from having this experience. In my humble opinion, in a monogamous relationship, shouldn't be the opposite be true? Comments by OP. We both were happy until she found out I was screwing my neighbors. She made me unfollow them on Instagram, which I think is fair, but this pause relationship shit is just weird. In context, according to OP, he didn't sleep with the neighbors while in a exclusive relationship, but he did sleep with them during the months they weren't exclusive. More comments by OP. I know, man, I hit a jackpot. They're both females and they are open to all kinds of stuff. They have tried toys and just raw. And they know that's dangerous, but YOLO. One of them likes to dominate, but the other one is very submissive during sex. At the end, I walk out happy. To be honest, I shouldn't be thinking about them as I am currently in a relationship, but talking to you has made me realize sex with my girlfriend is not very good. It is satisfactory, and my relationships are more than sex, but fuck me. Then an update. My girlfriend asked if we can pause our exclusivity so she can try a threesome, as I have done it and she hasn't. TLDR. At first, both girlfriend and I had figured things out on the whole pause exclusivity thing, which we did, but her demands just increased, and it felt right to end things, which I did. Thank you for the advice, and I do plan to keep my single life experiences to myself moving forward, as that was the general consensus in my last post, as well as from people I know. Girlfriend and I talked again about all this, and she told me that she doesn't want a threesome, and she doesn't know why she said that, said that she did. She is all in for monogamy too. Progress was being made, and we were talking and sorting out her feelings and mine. We both agreed upon stuff, and this discussion ended. Right after this, she suggested that I should move in with her. She lives on the other side of the city, approximately 40 miles. drive one way. She and I have jobs near where I live, and I also have school on the other side, so I told her that this wasn't feasible for me. Also, I explained it to her that if she really wants to live together, it'd be wiser for her to move in with me, as it will be closer to work. She wasn't having it and was absolutely fixated that it would be me who has to move in with her. After this, I told her things weren't really working out for us and we should just break up. I'm just going to interject here. Guaranteed she wanted him to move in with her because if he's living next to the couple he had the threesome with, guaranteed she would not be cool with that. Anyway, back to the story. I don't know what she was thinking when she suggested without explanation that I should move 40 minutes away. Okay, I like her, but I'm not moving for a 3-month girlfriend. 8 months before that doesn't count towards the relationship. As for my neighbors today, when I was in the elevator going to my job, I bumped into one of their wives. We had some small talk, and I told her that I broke up with my girlfriend. She said she was sorry to hear that and invited me to dinner tonight, so at least I won't have to make food for myself tonight, so that's always a plus. Sucks to be broken up with my ex, but it is what it is. Breaking up felt like it was the right thing to do for me. Just a little update of sad life. Commentator, so sounds like you're gonna go fuck the neighbor, laugh out loud. OP, just dinner. Sure, bud, sure. Thanks for catching this. I don't want to say their Reddit name, but yeah. This comment also makes me sense more from the now ex-girlfriend's point of view. OP left out from the previous post that he had been having not one, but on and off threesomes with his neighbors for several years before, including while he and his ex-girlfriend were dating non-exclusively for 8 months. They're both too immature for a serious, long-term relationship. Then someone else said, I agree, and I feel like this needs to be higher up. Reminder, I am not OP. Yeah, one thing I don't get to is like dating someone for 8 months, not exclusively. What's the point in that? It's like, why waste your time? If you know you like someone, wouldn't you maybe not really be exclusive for a month or two and then move into exclusivity? I don't know. I mean, when my husband and I met, we were exclusive pretty much from the time we met, but that's just us. No way would I want to be dating in today's world again. No thanks. So here's the comments. I'm a very late bloomer, especially for dating. I keep seeing exclusivity drama on this sub. Is it actually normal? I'd feel deeply hurt if someone was non-exclusive after the first few dates. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned. Exactly what I was just talking about. Then someone answered saying, remember that the posts you see here and in subs like Am I the Asshole and relationship advice are skewed samples. People with happy, conflictless relationships have no reason to post online about it. Very true. Then someone says this, my husband and I were monogamous from the second we decided to pursue a relationship, which was after the first time we hung out. This is exactly me and my husband. Then she continued with, 5 years later, I don't know what I'd post about on these subreddits. The worst he's ever done was forget to charge a power bank before we wound up needing it. Oh, and one time he left the gate to the backyard open and our dog almost got out. Like, our relationship is incredibly drama-free. We get along, we have fun together, we make each other laugh, travel, hang out with our dog, etc. Part of why I come to see these subs is so I can tell my husband these insane stories afterward. It's like, is this person me? But yeah. I will find crazy stories and tell my husband, and we'll just kind of get our mind blown. Like, well, why do you want to have drama in a relationship? For real. So, I think that concludes the first segment. All right, for our next segment, it is from Am I the Asshole? And the title is Am I the Asshole for Calling the Cops on a Kid? So I've, 30 male, gotten into a really messy situation and need this place to give me a verdict. So I was in a 6-year relationship with a single mom named Tara, 33 female. When we met, she had an 8-year-old daughter named Sasha. We took things very slow with the whole situation. Eventually, she introduced me to her daughter, and things went really well. After 4 years of dating, we finally got engaged with her daughter's blessing. But we had an obstacle stopping me from tying the knot. I wanted my own biological kids. It was important to me and something I've always wanted. Tara was open to this, and we had plans of having our own kids. Well, 5 years into the relationship, she was still on birth control measures. I kept saying that she knew I wanted kids, and what was the deal? She kept pushing off the conversation. Eventually it came out that she didn't want to have more kids. That at first she thought she did, but she changed her mind. I told her that was unfortunate and decided to break off the engagement. Tara was hurt and wouldn't even let me explain things to Sasha. I was basically gone the next day. I moved a couple blocks away to a new house. Sasha found out where I moved to and started showing up, like just knocking on my door. First couple times I opened the door and talked to her, explaining the situation and telling her she couldn't stop by without her mom knowing, and it was inappropriate. She did it again, and this time was demanding to know why I didn't talk to her like I used to. So I drove her back to her mom's, and we had a sit-down conversation, the three of us. We explained the situation and told her she needed to let it go. So I started dating someone a few days after the breakup. What? Things have been going really well. But when she parked on my driveway this past weekend, her car was damaged. She had a soda thrown on the windshield and scratch marks on the driver's side door. I checked my security footage and I could see someone on a bike ride up to her car and do the damage. But it was late at night and the person had a mask on and a hood on. In my head, it was Sasha, but I had no evidence. So this Sunday morning, there was a knock on my door, and it's Sasha again. It's like 8 a.m. I was fed up. I called Tara, but noticed that I was blocked. I tried social media and was blocked on there too. So I called the cops. The cops showed up and talked to Sasha and me. I explained the whole situation, and they called Tara. Tara showed up looking out of the sorts, and Sasha was crying. I said I wouldn't press charges this time, but the next time she's at my house, I will. And that Tara needs to be more aware of where her daughter is and maybe get therapy. That I'm sick of dealing with this, and that maybe if she didn't block me, I wouldn't have had to call the cops. Tara screamed at me, and she called me a ton of names. Am I the asshole? Okay, first of all, I want to see, okay, so I started dating someone a few days after the breakup. Okay, he's in a 6-year relationship and breaks up, and then he's seeing someone new a few days later. That's odd. It's like, were you seeing this person secretly, before you technically broke up? I don't know. That's weird. And I think Sasha is just really confused. It's like you were in her life for 6 years, and her mom did her a big disservice by not talking it out with all three of you guys. I don't know, that's messed up to do to her. Just one day he's there, one day he's not. That's not right. She deserved to kind of talk to both her mom and him and have some sort of closure. Why do you think she's showing up at his house and acting out, especially to the new girlfriend's vehicle? I mean, it's pretty obvious. So let's read some comments. I was with you so I started dating someone a few days after the breakup. Yes, exactly. You were in a 6-year relationship with someone you intended to marry and have children with, and in days, you met someone new? And then ETA, you're not the asshole for calling the cops, and only that. Agreed. Someone else said, yeah, that got me too. Overall, he's not the asshole, but how do you justify getting into a new relationship so quickly? Something else was going on there. That's what I believe. And then someone said, because he wants a baby maker, not a wife. Yeah, I think so. I don't know, I think he feels like maybe he lost time with Tara, so now he has to go like warp speed to try to find someone to have children with. I don't know. Let me quick see. Yeah, he's 30. I don't know why he's in like super fast mode, because guaranteed if that's the way to go, not going to find a good partner to have kids with. I mean, you could, but I don't know. It's not really a good way to go about it. Let's see. Don't you think it's her actual mother's responsibility to handle that conversation? And OP said that they had at least one sit down. Like, at what point is OP free to live his life without a child enacting retribution and vandalizing his shit or randomly showing up because the mother is failing to parent her own child? The mother knows this is a problem and blocked OP for many reasons. OP is getting put in a problematic situation because of this kid. True, if the mom didn't block him, guaranteed he could just call her and the police wouldn't have been involved. Okay, someone said, what? Why? Because he doesn't want some random girl showing up at all times and damaging his or his new girlfriend's property? What's wrong with you? Not exactly some random girl. The girl he raised since she was 8 years old before disappearing from her life with no explanation. Let's be clear. Very true. I don't understand why parents do that. It's like you were doing so much damage to that child. I don't know. It's like abandonment. They're going to have abandonment issues. Next time mom brings around a guy that, I don't know, she's serious with, do you think this kid is going to warm up to him? Probably not. Who knows if she'll ever warm up to any of her mom's boyfriends or, perhaps a stepdad ever again. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. Let's see. Add in that she blocked contact OP while knowing her kid was showing up at his house and whatnot. How she cut him out of the kid's life without a sit down or any kind of group therapy session to make sure her kid was okay. She sounds like a shitty human all around, bad mom and bad partner. No need for OP to waste time mourning relationship. If you change your mind about kids and know your partner is passionate about having them, you tell them. Otherwise, you're a massive asshole. She wasted years of OP's life, and even though they are broken up and she's still causing issues by blocking him and making this situation escalate to him having to call the police. Exactly. And someone said, one, because she was using her daughter to to emotionally manipulate OP. I am 1000% sure she was the one who told her daughter where OP lived. 2. She never intended to have more kids. She was postponing it until it was too late. Yeah, I agree with it. Or agree with them. Oh. Okay, what's this? Exactly, people are too focused on how rapidly he moved on. But why shouldn't he move on quickly after he literally wasted years of his life waiting for her to come around? She decided she didn't want kids, other than one she already had, of course. So he left the relationship without fuss, without making a scene, without trying to pressure her into having more. I commend OP for that. Then someone said this: as long as he didn't cheat on her, which it doesn't sound like it, he's allowed to get back into the game or dating game however quickly he wants. People keep saying the best way to deal with a broken heart is to get back out there. But now we're demonizing him for doing just that. The fuck? Not the asshole OP for any of this. I understand her not wanting to have another kid. I'm in the same boat. Don't want kids, period, but never telling OP until he drags it out of her is beyond assholey. Then not letting him talk to her child about it, since it sounds like they were close, and then stalking him to his new home and blocking him and letting her daughter go wherever she wants is just a whole new level of asshole. Unfortunately, couples break up all the time over the issue of kids. At least OP found out before he married her, so they didn't have to go through a messy divorce. True. And then a lot of times people too, they can be very emotionally just done with the relationship way before they leave. So I'm guessing this guy was just done with this Tara chick, who knows how long before he actually left her. I don't know. That's what it sounds like. He was just done and then finally was like, I gotta get out of this. So, yeah, I don't think he's the asshole. Sounds like Tara is on many different levels for many different things. So, that concludes this segment. Okay, and now on to our third segment. It's from the Best of Redditor Updates, and it is called, Am I the Asshole for Not Letting My Stepmother Meet My Daughter? And it has 2 updates. So here we go. Myself, 33 female, and my husband, 38, have a 3-month-old daughter. My stepmother is strictly prohibited from approaching me and my baby, and consequently my father refuses to see his granddaughter without his wife. For context, my stepmother had an abortion in her youth and had severe complications, which left her infertile. When she married my father, she immediately came to see me and my siblings as her children, being very pushy and invasive and wanting to outdo our mother, who is alive and present in our lives. Even when we were kids, the situation made us uncomfortable, and her obsession with motherhood and being our only mother scared us and drove us away completely. My father, wanting her to be happy, started trying to force us to call her mommy. Eventually, our mom got our custody, and we moved across the country. Over the years and the physical distance, my relationship with them became more tolerable. There were occasional problems, such as the fact that she wanted to be mentioned as a mother in the wedding invitations, or when she tried to adopt my niece after my sister-in-law's death, declaring that my brother was unable to raise his daughter. Before the pandemic, she and my father moved to my state, something common for retirees. She started posting photos of my ultrasounds and baby clothes with captions like, "Looking forward to my baby's arrival," or "At last, entering the journey of motherhood." I scolded her and demanded that she delete the posts. And then the physical harassment began. As we live in the same condominium, she started to come to my house several times a day to check me, fight with me about what I ate, and set up a complete nursery in her house, telling me that the baby would need to spend the first few days with someone more experienced to take care of him. When we found out it was a girl, she immediately started saying that finally her Christina would come and how her dream would finally come true. I immediately denied that this would be my daughter's name and made it clear that she would not be a mother figure to my baby. My stepmother then reminded me that a lot can happen during childbirth and that it was better that my significant other and I understood that she and my father were prepared for any eventuality and that I couldn't be cruel and deny her the closest thing she'd ever have to a daughter, since I didn't accept being her daughter. After that and other comments and actions, my husband and I decided to take some action in case she tried something. And now, 3 months after my baby was born, my father refuses to visit his granddaughter, even though we live close together, as I don't allow his wife to play mother and daughter with her. I understand that she has frustrated maternal instincts, but my daughter is not her replacement baby. So, Reddit, am I wrong? Then it says, "There's some comments which could help fill in some gaps. Thank you for your suggestion." I'm not saying the Reddit name, but user, not the asshole. Trust your parental instincts. You are not obligated to humor her. Your father is capable of making his own decisions. OOP, thanks. Her attitude makes me very uncomfortable, and my husband is also worried. My dad says she's just very motherly, and that it's only natural for her to want to come close to the children in the family, since she was never able to be a mother. I adore him, but he accuses me of being insensitive and denying my daughter the love of an extra mother. User, not the asshole. Best advice, move away from her. She doesn't care about you, and it's clear from the interactions that she has manipulative ways of trying to undermine your choice. OOP, she's always like that. I think she resents the fact that my 2 brothers and I never accepted her as our new and only mother, and that we preferred to live with our birth mother away from her and my father. She tried to get a surrogate through an agency, but apparently they realized she wasn't very mentally stable. Oof. User, not the asshole. Your stepmother is way over the line, and her obsession with your child and supposed motherhood over it is frankly creepy. If she cannot respect your boundaries, then she does not need to have a role in your child's life. OOP, my brother said the same thing. He refuses to have contact with her and my father since she tried to usurp my niece when he became a widower. She and my father used the excuse that they wanted to help my brother, who was in mourning, and ended up not wanting to return the child. There was even a need for police involvement and a court order to recover my niece, who was 4 at the time. Wow. User, so your father was complicit in basically kidnapping your brother's daughter. OOP, yes. User, not the asshole. Honestly, she sounds crazy. Like grab your baby in the middle of the night and run off crazy. Why didn't she adopt or foster if she wanted kids that bad? You shouldn't let her anywhere near y'all without some serious therapy. and never around the baby without you or your husband being present the entire time. I know your father wants to make his wife happy, but he's an asshole here. He's majorly enabling her and not thinking about anyone else. OOP, my stepmother has certain principles regarding hereditary and therefore refuses to adopt a child she doesn't know where she comes from. She's already tried to get a surrogate, but the staff at the agency she sought to broker the process didn't think she was stable enough, mentally speaking. Since then, she has focused all her energy on being not a grandmother, but a mother to my nephews and nieces. But my older brother is no contact with her and my dad, and my other brother lives on another continent with his family. I am her only option. Regarding therapy, my father even tried to get her to go, but she refuses to go to a crazy doctor. User JFC, which Jesus effing Christ. The agency was right on the money with her. Has she tried to come over uninvited or anything since the baby was born, or been harassing at all? OOP. She tried to make a few visits, and the last time my husband found her hanging around our garden, trying to find the nursery window. After that, we changed the fence and the gate, and she had made a copy of the key to the old one. She called several times, including when I was still in the hospital, crying and saying I was cruel and sadistic for taking away her chance to take care of her little girl, and that all she wanted was the love and joy that only a mother can feel. Oh my God. User, definitely not the asshole. Does your father and stepmother have custody of your niece? I wouldn't want someone that unstable around me and my kids either. She needs therapy. OOP, no, they didn't get custody of my niece. In fact, my brother only recently came back to talk to our father, and my niece talks to him by video call, but they don't come to visit in person. Yeah, I wouldn't either. So, update 1. My husband and I hardly slept that night, partly because we've been reading your answers, and partly because a 3-month-old baby sleeps as little and breastfeeds as much as possible. Thanks to you, I was able to see that my father will never protect his children, especially if it means putting limits on my stepmother. But the big point, the straw who broke the camel's back, was what happened this morning. Oh God. As I work from home and my husband owns his own company, we decided to streamline the moving process. What was our surprise to find my stepmother in tears at our gate, properly locked, screaming and begging for my forgiveness, and claiming that all she wanted was love, happiness, and that I have no right to deny anything so small to her. For me, it was like coming out of shock. After threatening to call the police, my father finally came and took his wife home. Immediately, I called my stepfather, and he and my mother came to pick us up. I was glad he came, as he is a very intimidating man, as well as being a retired police officer. We packed a few essentials, and the 3 of us will be staying at my mom's house for now. She lives in an apartment with plenty of space and 3 levels of security to allow access. We are in contact with our attorney, who will refer us to someone who specializes in family status, and we will seek to get a restraining order under our old address. P.S. To someone who asked me in private, my sister-in-law's death was caused, according to a police report, by alleged mechanical failure in her car. At the time, with the whole situation going on with my brother and niece, I never really went into the matter. And for the other person who asked, my mother is Chilean, but she has lived in the United States since she was 20 years old. She's an American citizen legally speaking, whereas my stepfather, stepfather and stepmother are all North American by birth. I have dual nationality. Update 2. Well, it's been 2 weeks since my original post, and I felt compelled to let you know who supported and advised me so much. A lot happened, but I will try to summarize. We blocked my dad and stepmother from phones and social media. Unfortunately, this made the situation worse. My stepmother began to speak ill of me to anyone who would listen. Our neighbors, friends, family members, and even our church priest. The last few days have been a campaign, but thank God people were able to see her insanity, and she ended up losing a lot of important people. We put our house up for sale. We are currently in the process of purchasing an apartment in my mother's building. Enhanced security is an attraction, in addition to the fact that items such as fingerprints are required for access. The garage also requires an access code, and this makes the building very secure. Following recommendations, we've taken our cars for a review, and we're in the process of getting a restraining order based on the evidence we already have, such as audio and video of my stepmother's behavior. I completely cut off contact with my father, and my brothers did the same. As for the possibility of my stepmother calling CPS, when my husband went to get the rest of our belongings 5 days ago, along with my brothers-in-law and father-in-law, my stepmother said that stealing her baby would not go unpunished, and that she would show it to everyone world that the two of us weren't good. I think everyone in the world, that the two of us weren't good parents, and that we were prepared because she wouldn't give up her baby. Wow, this is just scary. According to my father-in-law, her expression and speech caught the attention of the neighbors, and some of them assured my husband that they supported us, including noting her rapid and dangerous mental decline. The fact that my father did nothing to stop this episode ended up sealing the end of our relationship. And so this is the update so far. My mother and I only walked along the shore, accompanied by my stepfather, who is now constantly armed, and he assured me that he would end my stepmother's existence before she steals his granddaughter. I still can't sleep properly, and am paranoid about the baby monitor, doors, and windows, even though my mom lives on the 15th floor. Because of this, I'm actively seeking a therapist, and my husband and I are closer and closer than ever. We review all the legal issues regarding our wills and the custody not only of our little girl, but also any baby we have in the future. For now, that's it. Thank you all for your support, advice, criticism, and immense help. I promise to inform you of any news. Wow. I can't imagine. My youngest is 6 months old, and I could not imagine if I had a stepmother that was harassing me and calling my baby her baby. That is the sickest thing to me. It's like she needs psychiatric help immediately. Who knows what she's capable of? She seems like, to me, one of those womb raiders, a woman that will lure a very pregnant woman to their house saying, "Oh, I have a free crib for you." And once they get inside their house, cut the baby out. I just learned recently that they're called womb raiders, but she seems like one of those. And the dad would be probably complicit and all that. So, wow, that scares me for this woman. And how sad. This is their first baby. This should be a joyous time in their life, Their first baby, a little girl, navigating their way through parenthood together. I wouldn't be surprised if this triggered like postpartum depression in that woman, which is awful. Wow, my heart goes out to her. So let's read some comments. Stepmother needs psychiatric help before she does something else terrible. Someone says she seems seriously mentally ill. And someone else says, it's a shame the father doesn't realize this. She needs to be divorced out of the family or forced to seek help by her husband. Now he's lost his entire family because he kept supporting this woman. Correct. He should have done everything in his power to get her psychiatric help a long time ago. Now there's this awful mess for OOP and her family due to stepmother's actions. I think if someone's presenting enough, psychiatric signs and mental health symptoms, I think even if they refuse, you can go to court and make them a ward of the state where they have to get psychiatric help, I believe anyway, where they have no say and they can't just check themselves out. But I think even if this guy divorced his wife, I don't think his relationship with his children would be salvageable. I think they're beyond done with him. Okay, this is exactly what I said, but someone said, sounds like she'd cut a baby out of a woman's womb if need be. Yes. Let's see what else. I think the lady is so nuts that she has convinced herself that OP is her child, not her stepchild. Yeah, I think so too. But just her, keep on calling her step-grandchild essentially her baby. Oh, that gives me the creeps. It's like when I was really pregnant with each of my boys, I was so afraid to go out alone and do errands because, what if someone wanted to take me? I'm pretty short. I'm 5 feet tall. What if someone just, try to throw me in a van and take me? I mean, you hear about stuff like that. It's terrifying. And actually, I was really pregnant with my first, and I was at Walmart, and I'm one of those that I'm not on my phone, I'm not distracted, but my purse broke, the strap. So there I am throwing everything in my purse and kind of, flustered. So I unlock my door, I get in, I lock it, and I turn it on and then I lock it because I wanted to check and make sure most of my stuff was in my purse and have my phone ready and whatever. And all of a sudden this guy was at my window and he was yanking on the handle of the car and trying to get in. And he didn't know that I had my 85-pound dog, Gus, just chilling in the back. And Gus, I've never seen him act like this since then or before then, but he sprung up and he was over me and he was baring his teeth and growling, and it scared the guy. But the guy then tried yanking on the back door right behind the driver's seat, and I just threw it in gear and left. I was so scared because I had no idea what he wanted. I wasn't about to find out. So, I don't know. I like to thank Gus that if he wasn't around, who knows what could have happened. I mean, Gus is the sweetest dog ever, but he can look intimidating. I got him from the animal shelter, and he was severely abused. That some assholes shot him with a pellet gun, and he has scars peppering his body, and he actually lost an eye due to the pellet gun, but he has excellent eyesight. Don't let that fool you. But yeah, I mean, he is extremely protective of me, especially when I'm pregnant. And and now he's extremely protective of our sons, and it's cool to watch. But this lady, yeah, she needs help. She's gonna be on the news one of these days for doing something horrific and awful. Just, I can't believe that guy has stayed married to her. He lost his whole family due to her. It's sick. So, anyway, this ends this segment. All right, and now for our last segment. It's from Am I the Asshole? And the title is, Am I the Asshole for Walking Out of My Sister's Birthday Party After She Announced She Was Pregnant? Okay. Growing up, my sister, 26, and I, 23, female, were not that close. She was my parents' favorite daughter. I have always been a little overweight. I had PCOS. My sister was slim and fit. I always held that resentment towards her, especially when she belittled me with my mom, not letting me eat more than one serving of dinner or more than one serving of dessert, telling me that sleeping in was making me gain weight. She always overshadowed my accomplishments. My sister married when she was 23 to a wealthy man, 28, from our community. We're Indian. Her marriage was arranged. They have 3 beautiful kids. I love my niece and nephews more than anything. I married my husband, 26, 2 years ago, and we have been trying for a baby for almost 1 year. My sister always said that it was because I brought shame to my parents for marrying outside our culture that I couldn't have a baby. After many negative pregnancy tests, a few months ago, we finally had a positive pregnancy test. Unfortunately, when I was 4 months, I had a miscarriage. I was devastated. I couldn't believe what was going on. 2 months after our tragedy, my family threw my sister a birthday party. There, she and her husband announced that they were pregnant. My heart did ache, but I was happy for them. As the evening went on, my sister kept making comments like, "We weren't even trying for a baby. It was so fun how we get pregnant so easily," just as I thought things couldn't get worse. We were standing with cousins when my sister said, "We didn't even want more kids. I was almost contemplating having an abortion." She said all that while looking at me. I'm all for women having abortions, but having my sister use it as a weapon against me, showing off how fertile she is, how she was contemplating having an abortion after they decided to keep the baby and announce it, that really hurt me. I was so upset and frustrated. My husband noticed the change in my emotions immediately. We said goodbye to my parents and left the party immediately. I got many texts from my sister and her cousins calling me jealous and an asshole for walking out on my sister's birthday party and not being part of the pregnancy celebration. My husband and our friends say that I had all the right to feel the way that I did, but I'm not sure. So, am I the asshole? Absolutely not. Your sister sounds like a tool. I mean, I can't stand when women are like that. They know someone's struggling or just went through something horrific, and they have the audacity to have that kind of attitude. It's disgusting. Or saying that you bring shame to our parents because you married outside of their culture. That is such an asshole thing to say, too. So, let's read some comments. Someone said, "Not the asshole. Your family sounds like they suck." Yep. And someone said, "Yes, OP, for your mental health, please distance yourself from these people." I will also say that I find that happy people generally don't need to hurt other people. The sister was definitely trying to hurt OP, which makes me think she isn't as happy as she's trying to present herself. Exactly. It's like lions don't need to, announce that they're lions. Or people that are happy in their relationships or whatever, and you see all over their Facebook, like, I don't know, gushy stuff, and you know damn well that's not what's really going on. Or you see the people on Facebook that, have a joint account. Those ones always make me cringe. I can't stand seeing joint accounts because someone messed up. Someone said, or she's just a toxic, evil asshole by default, not the asshole. Someone said, almost no one actually is that way. Our personalities don't even begin to set until we're about 7 to 9 years old. People are not evil from birth. Their personality is determined by their environment. Yes, there are mental disorders that can affect how strongly people feel empathy, but millions of people who have those disorders go on to live full, normal lives. So again, it comes down to nurture. It comes down to how those people are raised. It is very, very extremely rare that a person is genuinely bad for no reason. That's actually a really good point. And then someone said their personality is determined by their environment. And then they said, I think there is some truth in that statement, but more like 30% truth and 70% not truth. Then someone said, yep, we need to remember the biopsychosocial model always. It's pretty evenly split that way instead of just our environment. Edit, yes, of course, they're all connected and blend the other areas, etc. Let's see. I think blank slate theory is being fairly rapidly being disproven. Not to say socialization and environment don't have a role, but the role of genetics is very real. I agree with that. Although I don't think someone is born completely evil. Say that they're just, there's maybe like a little seedling in there. And then the way they were raised, say if they weren't from a loving household, they were from a household where they were abused or what have you, I think that's what tends to breed the really horrible people. Just my opinion. Then someone said, so people are genetically born assholes. Someone's like, well, yeah, kinda. Most animals can be selectively bred to develop certain physical and temperamental traits. It's not a huge surprise that the same could apply to people too. Also, there's the Jim and Jim twins. Oh, I remember that. They were the twins that they separated from birth, I'm pretty sure. And they still had, they married, I think, around the same age. They married a woman women that had the same names. They had like the same haircut. It was crazy how similar they were, even though they weren't raised together. Let's see. Understanding that this anecdotal evidence, but I've had a family member who were raised in a kind and loving home by kind and loving parents. Their siblings turned out just fine, but the family member in question was just an asshole and wasn't happy unless they were making someone miserable or causing trouble for someone. It started in childhood, and years of child counselors and therapy haven't helped. So I think there's some case to be made for nurture over nature. But some people are just outside of the norm, and you just can't help them. True. Then someone said, yeah, I majored in biopsychology almost 20 years ago. It was already very well known at that point that tabula rasa is BS, and it's actually the interplay of genes with the environment. I can't believe how often I hear the blank slate argument being made here on Reddit, and I still don't know why people still believe it. And someone says, it really doesn't matter whether the sister is born that way or not. She is a responsible adult who can choose who she who can choose who she behaves and chooses to behave like an asshole. Let's see. People may not be evil from birth, but this individual has had more than enough time as an adult to develop enough empathy not to weaponize her pregnancy against her sister. If you believe this is all down to nurture, then you must believe that Big Sis could absolutely develop empathy for her younger sister. She has not, and she is, at this point, responsible for that. And even if she is mentally ill, she is still responsible for that. Plenty of mentally ill people, myself included, completely take responsibility for when they are hurtful towards others. Exactly. Yeah, I don't know, this sister. I don't know, that is just ruthless. I don't know. What a bitch. That's all I can say. And that concludes this segment. And that concludes episode 8 of I'm Just an Asshole Sometimes. I hope everyone's enjoying this podcast. This is a baby of mine. And if you are enjoying it, I would really appreciate it if you went to Spotify and gave me a rating. I would really appreciate it. So on that note, thank you guys. Thank you to the ones that listen. This is definitely a side project of mine that, I don't know, it's my baby right now, along with my other babies, but it's my project baby, and I'm just appreciating doing it. I love this. So on that note, I hope everyone has a great day, morning, night, wherever you are, and as always, don't be an asshole.